start.
Takes more.
Yes. Sprinkle.
There we go.
Oh, I'm on?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to another edition of The Metal Perspective. I am your host, along with the two other hosts, Pete,
Johnny,
and
Maggie.
Okay. Captain, sky's the limit. We were just in a conversation about instruments and how much people are paying for fucking instruments. And for the little guy like us, $4,000, $6,000 guitars. Shit, even a $1,500 guitar is fucking out of the question.
Oh yeah.
For some,
especially this day and age.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder how Stuart does it.
Yeah. This $4,000 Kraken guitar.
It's fucking several expensive guitars.
Yeah, he does have several expensive. Stuart from previous episode, 2 episodes ago, you may know from Deadline, but we were talking especially like the drums. Drums can get a guitar ain't shit compared to a kit. Am I wrong?
Good kit.
Absolutely not. I mean, like we were talking earlier, like the name brands, like with Drum Workshop. I mean, and I'm definitely not putting them down because they're very well crafted drums. But when I met Peter Criss, I had a discussion with him about that because I was playing Pearl at the time and I had a Pearl drum shirt on. And he was saying, like, man, I don't play Pearl no more. And I was like, well, yeah, Pete, I can't afford DW,
Right.
And I told him that I had played them in a studio setting once on an album that I did back in the 90s, and I really wasn't impressed. And like I was telling you guys, I had redone 4 tracks, and I brought in a Mapex Mars kit, and they sounded phenomenal. And so I mean, it's like we were talking about woods. I mean, whether guitars or drums, whether it's birch, maple, and all these exotic woods, that they're making instruments out of now, it's all going to resonate according to how it's aged. The type of wood it is designates, how it's going to resonate. But like with drums, you could take a piece of shit, Kmart kit or a Hello Kitty kit, like I was saying, and you put a good set of heads on it, and if you know how to tune it right, and you're good at your instrument, you're going to make it sound good. Same way with guitars, like we were talking, with your bass, like how you talking about, changing pickups. It's how you set your equipment up. The only thing that like for drummers, I mean, our shit's really expensive. You get an 8-inch splash, and you're paying $250 for an 8-inch splash. And me, I'm a cymbal guy, so I like a variety of frequencies. So you're talking a lot of money there, and heads aren't cheap these days either. So choose wisely. And the best thing to do, I think, for drummers and guitars, I mean, don't go by name brand. If you're a guitar player, walk into a guitar shop, Guitar Center, Sandmaster, wherever you got, man, and just pick everything you can off the wall. You might pick that $8,500 Les Paul that you think looks great because Zach Wild plays a Les Paul or Ace Frehley plays a Les Paul and it sounds like shit and doesn't feel great in your hands, and then go over here and get like a Hondo model and it feels great to you and it sounds phenomenal because it's set up right. So
it feels good.
I like Dean.
I mean, like lightweight or whatever. That's a big deal nowadays. So
that's why I like Dean guitars.
Yeah.
I own 2 Deans and guitars and 1 Dean bass.
The only thing I don't like it about them, they're pretty light. I just don't like is because of the necks. The way they're built, they're top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you let go of the damn thing, it likes to ground. You've seen that. I let go of John's guitar, like whoa.
Well, yeah,
there you go.
They look cool as shit.
Yeah, they feel good when you play them.
Yeah, they're a great show instrument when you play a gig. But they're good quality, and like the bass was $200, and I think the Metal Man, the Black Metal Man I got was like $150.
Yeah, and well, with that being said, you don't have to spend the $1,200 on. And I think think that's pretty much the limit between $8 and $1,500 on a real guitar. I mean, if you want some concert series guitar, I mean, you get a Dave Ellefson or Mariah or
Kerry King.
Yeah, any guitar, bass, whatever, for $800-900, and it's going to
cheaper.
You got.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to have the EMGs and the electronics and the same. I mean, you could buy the exact copy. It's like the what is it? Dave Mustaine. You can buy Dave Mustaine too. But the Steve Harris bass was like $1,500. You know, and that's got the Seymour Duncans. It's got everything, and they copied the wood. They got the same woods and everything.
You know, what gets me about all that shit is, when I was talking to Peter Chris about that too, is like, I never understood, like, and he said the same thing, he agreed, that, you know, when you're starting out, I mean, it doesn't matter if you've been playing 5 years, you've been playing as long as I have, but like, if you're not signed to a label and you don't have endorsements,
right,
you're buying your shit. And as soon as you get signed to a label, or this company picks you up and endorse, you get that shit for free. You know, they're not paying for shit. The guys that are making the money don't pay for shit, and and then you have these astronomical prices on equipment that guys like us would like to play. You know,
right.
And that's something I got to give Vinyl Cymbals credit for, because I started out playing Feisty because of Bonham and shit, and I love the big cutting sound, and all the drummers, Nick Brain plays Feisty, Charlie Van Andy, all the drummers that I really liked back in the day played Feisty, so I played Feisty, and I've never really messed around with Zildjian a whole lot, but there were some Zildjians that I did like. Their Z-Series, their ride was amazing. I did have one of those. I paid like fucking $700 for the damn thing. And I throughout the years, I filtered out from Feisty because they were so expensive.
Oh yeah.
And I was in a gigging band, and I was married with a kid, and shit, had bills to pay, so I couldn't afford to keep replacing Feisties that I was crap. So I filtered in on my Sabians because they were cheaper at the time. Then Sabians prices started going up, and that's really, Sabian and Zildjian are the same family.
Right.
But they were a cheaper made, well, not cheaper made, but a cheaper price cymbal at the time. But now they're astronomical. That's where I think Meinl has really, and their cymbals are phenomenal. They cut, they have a variety of frequencies, and they don't kick your ass in your walk,
Right. Right.
And that's why I was starting to filter into the Meinl thing. I'm on a Meinl kick. If you look at a lot of drummers now, they're playing Meinl. They're taking over the scene. And I think that a lot of these companies should take note that hey, I get you have to make money, but you got to understand that the people that are paying for your shit are the ones that are like us, that are blue collar people. The guys that are actually out there making the millions of dollars on paying for this shit.
Underground.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to it, you got $200 guitars, your Squires, your inexpensive Deans, your inexpensive models. I think what it boils down to is if you're mechanically inclined, we're not even mechanically inclined. I mean, you can crack open a guitar with a Phillips screwdriver and buy yourself a $100 set of electronics and use a soldering iron, or some you don't even need to. You just plug the wire in, and you can change the sound.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying. You can have a shitty kit, and you can just buy a piece at a time and get what you're looking for. I mean, you're like, I don't like the cymbals of this, like the Pearl kits, like a $600 Pearl kit. And that's pretty much where you're going to start with any of your basic kits, about $600. That's halfway decent. And then you're out going, okay, I'm going to buy these cymbals. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the heads, and work up to, when you get the cash to do it. I think that's where you're going to, that's where what I did with the bass. I mean, I think that's what it is. And yeah, of course you want the $1,500, the $7,000 kit. And I personally wouldn't want a $6,500 guitar. I mean, $1,500. I've seen some real nice ones, and that's about where I want to go.
And here's a good thing to consider too by saying that, because the one time that I played the Haven over in Orlando, I was playing it was a Pearl VBX kit that I had, and every drummer in there was like, God damn, the drums sound, they're fucking loud, they project, and the sound guy had to back me off because I was just killing it. My snare was just blowing everybody's head away. And that wasn't, an expensive series kit. But like choosing gear, if you're going to be out playing clubs, and at least from my experience, because I mean, I've had it happen to me. It was when I was with Dirty Politics years ago, back in the 90s. We played this club in Virginia called the Iroquois, and played there all the time. And I had a double bass Pearl export kit. That was one of their lower lines, but man, they sounded great. But you're packing that shit up. You're breaking it down. You're packing it up in a van. You're going to the club. You're setting that shit up. People are smoking, drinking, and when at the end of your set, it's just people that dig your band always want to come up on stage. And I had this dude one night walk up, was like, "Damn, dude, you're a killer fucking drummer," and was drinking Coke and rum and spilled his fucking drink all over my fucking kit. It took me forever because I couldn't just clean it right then and there. I had to break my kit down.
And you're sure shit not going to hose it off.
Right. So when I got it back, I came back the next day, and man, because of the syrup and the Coke, it dried on my kit. I had to take the heads off. I mean, completely break it down. But that's something you need to consider too. Why would you want to go into a club setting like that where you don't have boundaries between the stage and people can get up on stage, and whether they want to stay, anything can happen. But I mean, if you got a $6,000 guitar, or you got a really expensive drum kit, let's say a $6,000, $8,000 drum kit, and it gets fucked up one night, you gotta replace that shit.
Yeah, at your expense.
Yeah,
you're not sponsored. You're not.
Right.
Yeah. Unless you're making some good money, it becomes a.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But like with any singer, I mean, the only thing that they have to worry about is if you actually want to bring a high quality mic too. And this is a big deal too, is the response times of mics. These are $40 a pop. These are really shit in comparison to like a $400 or $500 mic. Or if you want it, you want good response time, you want it wireless, or you say you want your own pedal to add an effect, like a reverb to your voice, or add a little more presence, or whatever. A lot of people do, because let's face it, auto tuning is a fucking thing, back in the day, about 10 fucking years ago. But everybody was adding some kind of effect. But adding an effect to your voice to a certain song, like Peter Frampton did, and they did. What's that? We were just listening to
Synthesizer.
Yeah, a little bit of synthesizing. I forget who it was. We were listening to it last night. It's a band from the 90s. But anyway, they're adding a little effects here and there during certain parts of the song. So obviously it's done in-house, on a board. Or you have to be a good producer or somebody on the board to know when that song's coming.
In most clubs, in my experience, like with most of the bands that I've been in, the singer was always a guitar player, so we always used house mics.
Right.
Now, the last band that I was in Virginia before I moved down here, we had a actual lead singer that was a Bruce Dickinson, Jeff Tate kind of guy. So he had his own wireless mic, and he had his own rig set up, and when we go to places, he'd take his rig, and that way he'd plug that direct into the monitor board, at the stage. So because he already had preset effects for his voice and shit.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but yeah, and that shit right there is expensive. His fucking mic, I think he had like a $2,000, $3,000 fucking mic.
Oh yeah.
God.
And like the board, this is a cheap ass board here, and this is a $250 cord. But that's they're having a board, some kind of effects with it, or and obviously the mic, and that shit can get expensive too. Mm-hmm. And of course you're looking, I want this board, I want this mic, or I want active, I want passive, that whole deal. The shit gets expensive. But I think for a singer, if you have a good range of voice, You could, like you, John, can probably benefit from having a board and some effects because you like to do different sounds, and you can take out some of the highs. You can get a little more deeper, or you can do anything you want with it. I mean, really, that really changes the singer. And I'm not saying that fucking stupid shit auto tune. You know, like all the rappers were doing. All the rappers, probably one or two, but when it comes down to equipment, you know, I think the singer and the drummer has a short stick because the bassist and the lead guitarist all have to change set of pickups in a fucking couple hours and have a different sound to it.
I think, you know, if you're a good singer, you know, and you've got where you have control of your own compression, your own sustain and vibrato. The only thing you really need is maybe a little bit of chorus, you know, on your vocals, so it's not dry.
Right.
Whatever the natural back line that you're playing through. Like the singer that I had that had his own rig. I mean, he really didn't use a whole lot of shit. It was, you know, he used some compression on some parts because he was just trying to do that like Jeff Tate kind of high shit, you know. And you know, sometimes you know you're in the middle of a set and you're fucking tired and you're trying to, you know, compress your fucking diaphragm to hold that. You know, it takes a little bit out of it. But yeah, for the most part, man, I mean, you know,
there's no shame in using a little bit of help.
no, I don't know what the hell is that.
I know our producer here would love to have a $3,000 board and a $4,000 computer. I'll tell you that much.
Wouldn't be bad. It'd be overkill for what we're doing, but it wouldn't be bad.
I love that band.
Yeah, Overkill. Aren't they coming out with something else now?
There's talks that they're ready to do an album.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were saying something about them coming out with a new album. Speaking of, would you bring us today?
Okay, so we're all familiar, at least the three of us on this side are familiar with Three Knuckles.
Florida is familiar with it.
Yeah, Central Florida. I believe they're opening up tonight for Obituary at the Brass Mug in Tampa.
Obit.
Yep.
Really? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three Knuckles Deep.
it's gotta be nice for him. I mean, granted, I know Obituary's not, you know, massive, but
Right.
they are.
They're pretty big. Obituary is probably one of the biggest death metal bands.
They're
American.
No, he's
saying
like
the grand scheme of
the
everything.
grand scheme of Metallica and Megadeth and Anthrax.
Yeah, but in the death metal community, I mean, where it all started, you know, for Florida anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, between Death and Obituary and Deicide and Cannibal Corpse. But no, they're, you know, we've seen them a handful of times, you know, we're acquainted with them.
Three Knuckles, I like them.
Their guitar player, lead guitar player, Chris, we gotta have him on our show because he's just as diehard a fanboy as we are of all genres
He's
of
a cool
metal.
motherfucker.
Yeah, they all are, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Knuckles, Chris Hellion, Eric, Felix, they're all good guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to name drop these guys as the band I want to put out there for people who don't know to check out Three Knuckles Deep. This is a live CD I bought from them called Extermination. I bought it during the pandemic when everything was closed down, bands weren't playing, and you know I was kind of hoping I would help them out, you know, a little bit by buying a CD from them.
Yeah.
So if you're into death metal, check these guys out because they're raw, heavy as fuck. Have a groove element to them because Chris has a lot of groove, you know, Pantera down influence. So they're like self-titled track, Three Knuckles Deep, Love Story, Screams of the Dead, Mandatory Extermination, Prophecy of Mutilation, Eat Your Ass. Good shit.
Sounds like a band sounds of sex.
So yeah, if you're into death metal, check out Three Knuckles Deep because they fucking rule. I love this band.
It's
I'm wearing their shirt.
not to mention the attitude, and you know they're cool. They'll sit down like kind of a dime bag attitude, and they'll sit down and have a beer with you.
Oh yeah,
They're cool. They're down to earth, and you are kind of down to earth anyway, and but they just sound good. I like to see them progress a little farther than they have been, but it's kind of hard because you're not corporate shill and you haven't partaken upon some record company ball sack. But
it's true. It's competitive, and the people who
it's being able to
brown nose like that.
and get your name out there. I mean, and it's kind of hard nowadays. It's easier now with social media than ever.
I was going to go the opposite direction with that, actually. And I was talking to somebody, when I was in therapy, they were asking me about me playing drums and shit. Now, the reason I was going to go the opposite reason, the thing I have against social media is, and I'm not going to put any genre of music out there. I'm just going to say you can be a half-ass flunky, put your shit on fucking YouTube, and somebody's going to say, I like it. Next thing you know, man, you're swinging dick with the big wigs. When you got a really great fucking band out there that's busting their ass in fucking clubs, blood, sweat, and tears, the old school way, and they'll probably never get discovered.
Right.
Except through that. And I'm not putting social media down, but I think for me, the integrity of music should go back to the old school, where if you're a fucking band, start out, do your rehearsals, write your fucking music, and play clubs, sweat your ass on fucking stage, and make it that way. I mean, this social media shit, there's a lot of shit bands, there's a lot of shit musicians out there, a lot of shit fucking music out there, and I don't agree with it. They made it just because some cocksucker's like, hey, I can make money off this. Hey, wanna sign? When there's really good musicians out there that are getting fucked because of that.
Well, especially in the death metal community, not because, the stereotype is, it's all screaming and just really loud noise. It's actually, if you know your ass from a hole in the ground playing an instrument and you actually watch, people like that play, it's pretty goddamn impressive. You still hit notes when you're doing the death growl, and to sustain that stamina for that long, especially when you play a fucking instrument and do it at the same time. And that goes for any style of singing, across the board. But the fucking fast, guitars shredding, especially the fucking bass. Oh my god, Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse is a fucking god.
Do not forget the drummers in that song.
The drummers too, absolutely. How could I not get the drummers out, bro? Fucking some of the best fucking drummers as far as stamina and wise, blast beats, fucking double bass are death metal drummers, and they're fucking amazing. And
anybody that's thinking about it's a lot of technique, but
it's a hell of a lot of coordination.
A lot of technique. And you damn sure better have this fucking, if you're gonna play that kind of music and that instrument, you better be on your fucking A game, because it takes a lot of fucking stamina. And believe me, I have walked off stage and my clothes have been wet, my ball sack is in my ass because I've just ran myself ragged. I was a speed metal drummer, I wasn't a death metal drummer. So these guys today with blast beats, I can play them, but not at the stamina level that these guys do. Man, hats off.
And along with the actual talent that they hold, which is phenomenal, it's their fucking integrity, like you were saying. Just some dickhead, trying to get rich. They have fucking integrity, and that's why a lot of them only hold true to the underground.
Well, and I kind of got the inverse for social media. What you guys are saying, you're saying you said it was easy, and Mike had said it was hard. Well, and kind of like combining the two ideas, it's difficult because because of social media, people are exposed to so much stuff at once. They start just passing by it, so you can be plastered all over.
Where I was going to go with that.
Yeah, they start getting plastered all over social media. Even if you're a little band and you're out there, they're just going to pass by you because they've seen 100 other bands that are doing the same thing. So it's
and please don't get me wrong because I'm so old school with shit, but I do like social media for the simple fact that I've discovered some bands in Brazil that nobody will ever probably even hear of because of being on Instagram, just flipping up and seeing somebody on a drum kit and boom, and finding out this guy played in this band, and then I go find out who they were.
So it helps us discover the underground.
But my thing with it is that I noticed throughout the years that some people have put a band together and I'm not saying that they don't have the skills or the band's not good, but it's like, okay, like say, let's say we put a band together right now. 6 months from now, we put out a video on YouTube, but somebody says, okay, what about this band that's been playing here for 20 fucking years that don't do that, but they've been busting their ass.
We think they're better than we are.
Yeah.
See, the thing is it's a double-edged sword because
It is.
all it takes is one person to go, oh, there's shit. And then people, unfortunately, instead of listening or watching or you know,
Finding out themselves.
I mean, when you find out yourselves, I did like TV shows. I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes. If you ain't got me by the second episode, I don't give a shit. You know, I'm done. If I hear, oh man, you gotta listen to this, you gotta hear fucking Eat My Ass off from this band. You know, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't like that, and then I'll look for something else, and look for, you know, what's popular, and go, yeah, I still don't like it, you know, or I'll like, you know, maybe it's a bad song, and the second song is like, fuck, I really like this, you know, it takes just one prick to say, hey, they're shit, and it takes that other prick to go, if he didn't like it, you know, I'm not going to like it. Well, how would you know? You don't know who this guy is from anybody else. I mean, just because one fucking review says it's shit,
You didn't give them a chance.
you didn't give it a chance, and maybe you're going to like it.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with social media. It's like, hey, we can do it. So we get together again, and you know, obviously you're like years away from. But say
I'm broken.
Say you were never broken, and we're like, we go to put something out, and it just takes one asshole to say, hey, you know, fuck these guys. It's like, you don't know us, you know. Listen to 2, 3 more other songs, and maybe you'll like it. And that's what it takes with any kind of music, really, not just metal. It's, you know, like death metal. You know, I have a hard time with some people growling just shit and you don't understand it, but the rest of the band is fucking phenomenal. You know, hats off to the fucking band, but the singer, you know, he needs to dial it back.
Well, some singers too, though, you can actually understand what they're saying.
With the fucking growl, you know,
With the growl.
with the growl, with it, you know, and
Chuck Shoulder, you're able to understand. John Tardy, Obituary,
it's
you can
like,
understand.
there you go. That's what I like. I like Obituary. I like Obituary. And likes Obituary.
Well, that's the
because
thing.
they've got the growl. You can understand them. The fucking music's really good.
That's
Heaviest
the difference
fuck.
between-
Heaviest riffs I've ever heard are like Obituary.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it is what it is. With other guys, it's like, what do you fucking say? Then you're breaking out the album.
Well, that's
Oh, this is what he's saying.
Well, regardless of that, though, I mean, is so long as you know,
Or they just sound like shit.
or you know, regardless of if the instrumentation is there
Right.
and it's heavy and it's brutal and it's fast as fuck. You know, the death growl, regardless of whether you can understand it or not, just flows really fucking good. Like Cannibal Corpse. I can't, without reading the lyrics on, out of the vinyl, sleeve, I wouldn't understand what they're saying. But god damn it, them fucking instruments, instrumentation wise, they're
Well,
fucking
some of them
brutal and I
you
love that
can't
shit.
But that's the thing, like
Deicide, I can't understand, Glenn Benton, but I still love Deicide.
Yeah.
He's the bass player too, so,
I'm like that with a lot of black metal bands that have not the growl, but the screeching.
it's more of a,
And it's just like, okay,
like the Abbott from, Immortal and shit.
you don't have to sound like you're fucking,
you don't have to sound like a banshee.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not putting it down. I mean, there's definitely a technique to it, but it's just not my thing. Like, I love black metal music, but there's a lot of them that with that fucking like. They want to sound like they're possessed by some kind of fucking demon, and it's like they're grabbing their nuts, or if they're a female, they're sticking a broomstick up their pussy or something. I'm just not getting it. It's not working for me.
But at the end of the day, though, for them to actually, do a whole set like that and not blow their box out, and we're talking they're on tour, so they're playing like a gig every day, and they still sustain that, that vocal, whatever the fuck you want to call it, prowess, stamina, whatever. To me, that's pretty goddamn impressive.
No, I wasn't putting it down. It's just, but for my ear, I would much rather hear like death metal vocals as opposed to most of the black metal vocals. And I love black metal music, but a lot of the vocal aspect of it, I'm not digging it, you know. And
because me, you know,
That's my-
yeah, and you know, me, just us, doing our own thing and everything. Vocally, I'm more of a Tim Ripper, Rob Halford, Bruce Dickinson style of singer influence, Dio. But I still love, death metal vocalists at the same time. I wish I had a range where I could do that plus, what you guys think I'm capable of doing, like, this Tim Ripper style shit, kind of like, Matt Barlow, not Matt Barlow, but, I'm just having a brain fart. The more recent one of Iced Earth. Stu Block.
yeah,
Stu Block, like when he was with Into Eternity, he could hit the really high shit, but he went really fucking guttural, like down to the Chris Barnes level. And that to me, that's like, you topped it there. No singer could be better than that. That's what's up.
someone that he don't do it now. I think he kind of destroyed himself, but back in the day, fucking Phil, man, could do that fucking shit.
Yeah.
And
Like Cowboys from Hell was very melodic.
Cemetery Hanks, when you hit that fucking high, that was a lot of fucking high
What
compression.
was that song? Heresy?
Yeah,
Where he went really,
Yeah.
he almost sounded like Rob Halford.
yeah.
But then you get the vulgar display of power, and now they're sounding like fucking fucking Thomas Kyle from Exhorder.
Yeah, I don't think Phil really got a lot of the well-deserved recognition for his vocal ability back in the day. Now, I mean, like I said, he probably can't do it like he used to. But I still love Phil. I think he's one of the greatest fucking frontman vocalists, in fucking metal. But yeah, I mean, damn sure back in the day, I mean, he had fucking balls, and he had pipes, So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's why I don't understand when I hear on Liquid Metal or any radio stations or anything why Three Knuckles Deep isn't where they are versus some of these assholes that I've actually heard. It's like, what the fuck, And I know you've heard some of that, and it's like, who the fuck are these idiots?
Yeah.
And that boils down to somebody heard them, somebody that thinks they know something about metal has heard them.
That's why, one of the things about metal, especially like in your, your neck of the woods, is the loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And camaraderie. We want to get their names out there. We want to get them recognized.
Oh yeah,
We may not be, obviously our podcast is, we only got a few followers so far, but
yeah.
hopefully we become bigger, so that way we can get like our buddies Three Knuckles Deep, out there for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers to recognize and check out and give them the credit they deserve. That's kind of what this podcast is about. To me, is I want our local bands that we love.
I want to turn you guys on to this. They never got really, really big from Detroit. We used to play with them a lot. We were kind of like Cribble and Pantera was. Sorry to interrupt, but I didn't know what I'm talking to you two. Something you said reminded me of Universal. I hope they're still together, man. We were like really good friends. They'd always come down from Detroit and play shows with us in Virginia and shit and all over. And we were supposed to go to fucking Detroit. But then, of course, the band that I was in, one I told you, Dirty Politics had Relapse Records looking at us, and we just were too involved in trying to be like Pantera and couldn't drink like they could drink and play at the same time. But man, Universal Stomp. I won't turn you guys on it now.
Alright.
I do apologize for that. It was a brain fart. If I'm drinking, well, I mean, if I don't get something while I'm thinking about it, because I still from the head injury, my brain is still scrambled eggs, and I'll forget something like that. So it just hit me.
Yeah, so
yeah, like we were saying, we really want to use this podcast to get, the local bands that we know in our neck of the woods names out there for everyone else to follow.
Right.
So, because they deserve the fucking recognition because they're not just some
Right.
local fucking band just because they're a local band. We fucking like them not only because they're cool guys, but because their music is fucking good.
I don't know. How many times have I seen them? Probably 3 times.
I've seen them like 3, 4, maybe 5 times. I've seen them open with some bigger acts like Inhalation and shit.
Right.
Massacre. We saw them open for Massacre.
But I can review this without even, hearing them. I've heard most of their stuff, and I recognize a lot of these songs. I'm going to say this is probably,
What do you think is hurting them? Is it lack of venues in the Orlando area? Because I mean,
I
really,
think it's not just that. It's like if you can actually put these guys on a payroll and be able to say, hey, here's a brand new couple of bands. You need to go out and drive out to Texas. You need to go here. You need to go there. I think it's getting out. Like the social media thing, unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword. Somebody says, I don't like them, and that's going to really fuck you. But I think it's really getting out and playing.
I mean, they play a lot, and they're in the metal scene. Whether we go to a gig, whether they're playing or not, those guys are there.
Even playing all over Florida is not going to do it. I mean, you're going to have to get into whatever metal scene. Like if they had a chance to play with Gwar at the Gwar Bar or some shit like that. Little things here and there. I mean, hell, if they were able to play with Nico, hey, that right there is yours.
yeah.
Well, that's why I'd like to get these guys, on here with us on the podcast. Like I'd love to get, like I said, I'd love to get Chris on here because he's a diehard, fanboy like the rest of us. If not bigger.
Just opening it up, I haven't seen the CD, but opening it up reminds me of like the 80s, 90s. They got the half naked chick in the back, which, Pat, grab mine, please. Thank you. But I do like that.
She's like a metal chick, though.
Metal chick all
tattooed,
fuck up.
Hot as fuck.
Got that old timey, thin but not too thin fucking look. Yeah. I just like the fact that it's a reminiscent. It looks like a throwback. Honestly, I mean, look at that shit. It looks like a throwback. Like a Suicidal Tendencies kind of thing. But no, I like it. Their thing is getting out on social media, getting more people to go to the shows. They have a pretty good sound.
I mean, they open, like I said, they open for big acts that come into town. They open for
no, that's what I mean. I just wish that a big act would pick them up and say, hey, I want you to play the southeast.
Yeah.
Or I want you to tour with us, which would be a big break. I mean, look what happened to Ghost. I mean, they went with Iron Maiden. Now they're, they're not the greatest band in the fucking world, regardless of what anybody wants to say.
No, but they blew up. I mean,
they blew up like fucking. It was on the Book of Souls tour. I've never heard of these guys. They came out. They had a few songs. It's like, hey, yeah, it's not too bad. And they played the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how or what the market was. The songs weren't all that great. The ones that you hear on the radio from Ghost. I mean, are they?
I tried. So I tried to get into Ghost. Like I have, some metalheads who are like love Ghost,
right?
And Nico, who owns the Rock Stop out in Altamont Springs,
right?
A good buddy of mine. Told me, he's like, dude, Ghost is fucking is incredible. I love Ghost. Yeah, check them out. Yeah. I gave Ghost a chance. I've listened to like an entire one or two of their albums. I wasn't getting it. It's just not. They're just not my thing.
I think they're okay. I would call them mediocre.
Well,
middle of the road kind of band.
Here's my take on it. I like what I've heard. Being a drummer, I like good melody and good groove and stuff. But a lot of their shit, to me, it was catchy to my ear.
And that's
but the thing about them is, all right, there's always there had to be an Alice Cooper, and and then from out, and then Kiss, and then Ozzy, and then Marilyn Manson. Well, after Marilyn Manson, who did we have?
Well, let's not forget who came before Marilyn Manson, who was way more fucking extreme. Mayhem.
Well, I mean, like,
Marilyn Manson's kind of a.
Or
I mean,
Rob Zombie.
like-
Rob Zombie was before Marilyn Manson.
well,
Was he? Right?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, by far. But
Especially we know White Zombie.
But there was like, what I'm saying, like a category of shock rock per generation.
Right.
And so
Yeah, that's why I said, that's why I call them Mayhem, because of, the fucking black.
they were on a whole,
Venom.
they were on a whole different
Fucking
level.
Venom was a whole different level.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
King Diamond, fucking,
that's my God.
let's start there. You say fucking Alice Cooper, then Kiss, then Ozzy, dude, fucking Merciful Fate, King Diamond.
Well, see, but that's my generation.
Yeah,
But these young
I'm
kids.
talking about generations
Yeah,
going
but-
forward. You skipped King Diamond.
Look, that's my generation. I mean, I'm just talking, what I was trying to get at is like the younger generation. That's their shock rock band.
Oh, Ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Marilyn Manson
it's
was like my generation.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. I couldn't get into Marilyn Manson.
I
It wasn't my
couldn't either.
generation. I was a King Diamond guy, and I grew up with Alice Cooper and Kiss. So
I couldn't either, honestly, in like, because I've told you 100 times, I grew up on classic rock. My parents raised me on Led Zeppelin and Leonard Skinner and, Black Sabbath and Deep Purple, Bob Seger, I can keep going, where I'm getting at. But as far as they would go, is as, heavy-wise, is probably like not even Metallica, maybe Judas Priest and Iron Maiden is like the heaviest shit they would listen to. My mom loves Iron Maiden.
fucking
She's the one who
they
turned
were
me on.
heavier at their time.
Yeah,
And it's just listen.
but I never got into a lot of the shit in my generation. Like I couldn't get into Marilyn Manson.
Neither could I.
I couldn't get into Slipknot, but I really did get into what people would consider just calling me an elitist was the death metal shit, the thrash metal, Pantera, all that good shit,
Well, I will say this about Slipknot, and I'm 50, I'm kind of like, I'm a little bit old, but I'm still young.
Happy belated birthday, you old fuck.
Oh, yeah, I was going to do that here. Fucking turn 50.
Fucking, I really do like Slipknot, but I'm more of I like the writing of Stone Sour a little bit better. My thing is, I love Corey. I just think he's a really, really, really great lyricist.
He's a great lyricist and a great singer.
Yes.
I'll give credit where credit's due. I don't care for Slipknot, but I think Corey Taylor's great. I think musicianship wise, they're good. I just their style of writing and sound is
Well, it's
what I'm
like
into.
disturbed for you too. I mean, the fucking singer's awesome, but
Don't care for them,
don't care for.
but they're Living After Midnight Judas Priest cover. I like it.
Yeah, the guy can do anything he wants.
Yeah.
But it's just he needs to stop doing the fucking 80s coverage. Go ahead. What were you saying about Ghost?
I watched a video years back. They did an interview. A guy did an interview. He was asking him I think it was a lead singer for Guar, and they had a list of bands and said, "Oh, what do you think about this band, this band, this band?" And they came across Ghost, and he goes, "Well, I don't care for their sound, but I envy the money they make." And that's Ghost, who was brand new at the time, versus Guar, who'd been around for 20 plus years. And it was right along that vein of the guys who are working their asses off, doing as best they can. Gets upstaged by someone who got exposure.
That's something about that always got me about Guar. I mean, they have been around for years, and
I love Metal Land or Metal Land.
they are complete shock rock. I mean, they took their state and they played clubs. I mean, they never played huge fucking arenas unless they were on a big bill. So as a supporting act, and it's really sad. Because they had a great stage show. I mean, and their following is fucking diehard. especially in Virginia, because that's, they're from Richmond.
Oh yeah,
And
we went to their bar.
the entire fucking state, you walk into where I'm from in Roanoke, you go to Richmond, you go to Norfolk, you go up into northern, near DC, and you say something bad about fucking war, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
There's loyalty. Yeah.
They don't have a huge following, but the following that's there is they're there for
Yeah, one time they did have a pretty good sized following.
I listened to them a lot, like when I was in high school.
Wait, when did they come out? Like early mid '90s or so?
No, they were in the 80s.
They were like fucking early.
Yeah, because they all went to University of Richmond, and it was actually a college project.
Oh.
And it just developed from there, and it went on, and they started playing clubs like I was playing in Virginia, little shitholes, and playing. And matter of fact, they played the club. I played on the same stage as them. Played the same clubs, that were not huge, probably about maybe 500 or 600 capacity venues.
Yeah.
But legendary musicians are playing on this stage. And so they built a big following in Virginia, and it just took off. I mean, people, they got it, but they just never really, they were one of those bands that almost got to the peak, and it just didn't kick over for them.
Right.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with the quality of their stage show, or damn sure not the quality of their music, because it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the label backing at the time.
And that's what I was getting at between Ghost and War. It's been around forever, just didn't have necessarily the backing or the exposure. Then you had Ghost that went on tour with Iron Maiden for a couple times, and it kicked them off.
So the Gene Hoglan split with Testament. Anybody have any opinions on that?
So I don't even know what that was about, other than when I actually saw and somewhat met Testament. They had Dave Lombardo. Which I thought was fucking cool. I mean, Dave Lombardo has played with Testament in the past. He even recorded an album together.
Right. I personally, the reason why they're not playing together is he's got side projects.
Gene does?
Gene, really? Who would have thought?
It doesn't fall in line with Testament. So
There's two drummers that are the hardest working motherfuckers in music, and I don't care whether it's funk, hip hop, metal, you name it. There's two fucking drummers, and that's Gene Hoglan and Mike Portnoy. They both have 20,000 projects going at one fucking time.
Yes, they do.
I love them both.
Yep.
I love them both.
Yeah, that's why I like our fantasy band. Gene Hoglan, the drummer of my fantasy band, because
I just want to meet the motherfuckers, tell them how much of a god I think he is.
I got to tell Dave Lombardo instead, which was good. It was close enough.
I want to walk up to Gene Hoglan and say, look, man, look, you're one of my fucking drum idols. You always have been. I just want to say you're darn tootin'. I just want to see what he fucking says. That's his thing.
And I guess Pat O'Brien from Cannibal Corpse played with Exhorder at Maryland Death Fest. That's fucking cool. Because I love Exhorder.
Yeah, I want to know how these guys do this shit, because it's like, and that's one thing, as much as I think Lars Ulrich is a fucking asshole, that he has said some things in the past that I completely agree with. It's like not whoring yourself out. And you take people like Gene or Mike that have, I mean, goddamn, just like Mike Portnoy with all the shit he's got going on, and the millions of projects. How in the fuck do you keep up with all that damn music? And then you got all these drummers with all these bands or musicians, period. They're just swapping, man. It's like, you understand, but whether you know the music or not, you still got to rehearse. And it takes time to get that shit down. And it blows my mind how these guys just jump from one band to the next,
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's because they like playing or it's the money. I think it's some of them. It's they like to be and they have their hands in a lot of shit.
The majority of them, I think it's they like playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
yes. Pro and I haven't been.
Because, Dave Lombardo being known for, like the drummer of Slayer, is played with Suicidal Tendencies and
Grip
tested
Incorporated.
it. Yeah. He even did a project with Annihilator. Jeff Waters from Annihilator,
I
Stu
knew that.
Block from Iced Earth and Into Eternity. And, it's not like he's, just he's not doing it because it's a cash cow. He's doing it because he's a fucking shit. He's a drummer.
Right.
Just like seeing Pat O'Brien, playing with Exorder, that was cool fucking shit. Friggin', because and that's two different styles of music. Even though Exorder, is favored by the death metal scene, they're actually thrash metal, like the Slaughter in the Vatican album, and then The Law, and then their most recent album, almost 30 years later, War in the Southern Skies, is considered groove.
The thing that gets me is like playing as long as I have and being a songwriter myself, knowing how arrangements and phrasing goes in the arrangement process. You got to think like, okay, let's just say like, if whether you're a drummer, or guitarist, singer, or whatnot. Well, I'm gonna take singer out of it, but drummer, guitarist, and bassist. If you play with this band for a while and then like say like Iron Maiden called me up, so look man, Nico can't do this. I know Iron Maiden's music, but I would say give me the set list that you have to play, and you're gonna have to give me 6 months because I have to dissect every part in that song to be able to play it to where the fans are gonna go, this doesn't suck.
I'm getting an extra $5,000 in cymbals.
Well, the important thing is timing. You really have to make sure, because especially when you're writing songs and stuff like that, and especially for singers, when you can write a part, but the certain notes might not, like the drummer and the bassist could write two separate parts, those parts might not match up together. Timing might not be right, certain notes might be overlapping at certain times where it starts muddling in together. So you really have to be careful, and especially then when you're writing vocalist parts, you have to make sure that certain words are ending on certain beats, and you have to make sure everybody is in sync with each other. Because if you have a chorus that's a beat too long, or a couple beats long, while everybody else is
Right, and that
already finished,
that's where phrasing comes in.
it's very difficult. It's, as you said, you have to dissect it because it's very difficult to catch it.
Yeah.
And being with Bruce and the band for so long, and Harris, when they start fucking around and him doing his thing on stage, and if you've ever watched, and you will see, and when he starts talking, if he starts talking during the song, the drums, everybody plays a little slower or faster or whatever, and gets into kind of like a groove where Bruce can talk and all right, and then they'll talk, and the song is not fast anymore. The song, it's still the Iron Maiden song, but they're just playing to how he's talking to people.
Yeah,
but it's the same song, but it's on.
Like running free right now.
They were trying to match his tempo in order so he doesn't jump back in. It's not and rush.
Yeah. So, but
that's another thing that blows my mind, because like I can play like beat for beat. Let's take Peace of Mind, one of my favorite albums. I can play it probably front to back. But if you're playing the studio version versus the live version, then you got the call. Well, hey, we need you to go on tour with us because, like, say Nico's like sick, can't make 6 or 7 shows. How long that? Because it's not going to be the same. You're playing from memory, but the way that they're approaching that song in England, it's not going to be the same live. Like, if there's going to be breakdowns and whatnot, how it's played out for the live show is completely different. That's an amazing skill to do.
I think too that has a lot to do with lineup changes. Like it's either like a make or break. Like they've gotten better, they've gotten worse, they've stayed the same for any band. And it doesn't have to be the singer, obviously. But whether it be a new guitar player, a new bass player, a new drummer. It in some way, shape, or form, it sounds different.
I think the thing is I'm going to have to drag you down south here when both of you, when Nico plays again. so you can see what he could do with a drum kit that is a third the size. And when you hear him play, and you've heard him, you've heard him play, and actually the drum kit that he used, played at his Rockin' Ribs, was smaller than what you saw on stage, and what you saw on stage is tiny compared to
an actual maiden set.
his actual maiden set on, and he uses everything. But you can hear the difference in what he's cut out, and it sounds really fucking good.
And it looked, just for watching him, like it required no effort.
You're just watching, he's just like,
Well, I know, like,
More like lean over while he's, tapping the cymbals, just like smiling his ass off,
That's the one thing too. As far as drums are concerned, I mean, your basic kit is a 5-piece kit. It's 2 mounted. It's 1 floor. It's a kick and a snare. Everything that you add to your ride side or your hi-hat side is all extra to give you more color to your sound.
right, absolutely.
If you have to have all of this shit to do what you do, and you can't do what you normally do with a smaller kit, then you have a problem. Now, and I'm guilty of it because it took me like when I started playing as a kid. I actually, I started out with a single bass, but once probably about. I started actually playing about 5, so I'm gonna say about 10 or 11, maybe 12 when I got into double bass playing. And stayed, whether I had a single bass kit and a double pedal or I had a double bass kit, I always, and it took me a long time to actually get back to being able to play a single bass kit because I was so used to having, taking this foot off the hi-hat and having this to compensate for, doing doubles and triplets and stuff, to actually build my left foot back up again to where I could actually do that without, and keep a quarter or an eighth note with a hi-hat and do that. So yeah, I mean, if you take a drummer that normally plays a huge fucking kit like that and it can break down to like a 5-piece kit and no different, it's just, you don't have that high, extreme low tempos as opposed to having, 2 mounted in 1 floor, you just gotta double up on your rolls. That's where your basic playing, and that's where it should always revolve around that. No matter what you're playing, it should always revolve around the basics. If you get to where the basics become complicated because you're used to having more to compensate, you lack in the long run.
Right.
And as a tip for anybody out there, if you do ever end up getting lost while you're playing with people, just try and look for the drums or the bass player. You'll find the rhythm eventually, and you can slowly bring yourself back in.
Find the one.
There's that one person that you'll find that one little part in the song that you know perfectly, and you'll be able to hop back in. And speaking about that, I was in guitar class for 3 years in high school. We did concerts and stuff like that. One of the most difficult things I remember playing was swing. And because it didn't cater and it didn't mold to the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter notes.
Right.
It was always bobbing, constantly changing.
It's like jazz ahead of the note.
Yeah, and then on top of that, a lot of swing songs have a tendency to change tempo randomly. So you could have a 4/4 time signature, and then all of a sudden you're at 5/6,
right.
and everything's, you're thrown way off. And you have to be very quick on your feet to you have to make sure it's kind of.
But I mean, just as long as you just don't stop.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I mean, even if you're playing originals and you know that you fucked up, and the rest of the guys in the band know that you fucked up, they probably don't out there.
Yeah.
So just keep your shit, dude.
Two things you never do.
Find the downbeat.
You never, always find the downbeat. You never, stop, and you never go back for a note. If you miss that note, don't try to play it because you're going to be playing on a different beat and you're going to slow yourself way down. Just skip right over it, keep going.
Just say it in your head. Just say oops and keep up with the rest of the fucking band.
If you're on stage, don't even do that. Just keep going.
It doesn't even really fucking matter because most of the fans, the people that are there are so fucking diehard and into the shit that they're fucking headbanging and
and not to mention you're up on stage. Even if you have somebody in the audience who can see your hands, they're not going to know the exact notes of the song all the time.
Oh yeah,
and it changes for live performances. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I mess up.
Yeah.
No one's going to know.
I mean, like, I've seen bands, play that I know in my mind, like, every fucking riff, note, lyric, whatever. They may have fucked up, but I probably didn't notice. Just because.
A lot of times you don't.
Yeah, because, it's almost like it's intoxicating. It's like a drunk or a high, seeing a band sober, Like,
Well,
you being sober watching a band.
I've noticed as a drummer, like a lot of concerts I've been to in my life. When when the album comes out, I start learning the songs. I'll sit and listen to it with headphones, and I'll air drum to it until I learn it. Then I'll start beating it on pillows, and then I'll take it to the kid. Then I'll go see it in concert, and I've even done that with fucking when Live After Death came out. Like playing shit that I heard on the studio version. Like, it wasn't they changed it. It's never the same live as it is in the studio because it's all about improvisation, and being creative while you're playing. Because there's a lot of jams that go into shit, during songs live that it's not as structured as it is in the studio.
Speaking of Live After Death, I think that's my favorite artwork of Iron Maiden, like album artwork of Eddie, is Live After Death. Just him coming out of the grave with a lightning bolt. That's the coolest fucking. I think I'll get that as a tattoo.
My favorite is Somewhere in Time because there's so many
There's a lot of little shit in there.
Yeah, that has a lot to do. Like they got one thing on the album because they used to play
Like the Clint Eastwood look and
then there's like a shout out to Hammerjacks on there because they used to
Long Beach Arena.
I've heard from you and from Kevin Harlinsky. I've heard Hammerjack stories.
It was the shit. And Maiden used to play there back when they first came over
I
here.
heard Kiss played there. Like, the crew played there. Like, wow.
A lot of the big guys played there. And it was like you had CBGBs and then you had the Hammerjacks and then you had there was a club in Richmond I couldn't remember at the time. But then you had the Iroquois Arena, which had a lot of big bands that played there when they first were getting their shit. When Maiden came over, any of the bands, I mean, from Maiden to Kiss, when Wrathchild America, but they were just Wrathchild back then. When they were coming up before the Godsmack shit, that's where Shannon Larkin cut his fucking teeth was in that club, and he's a fucking great fucking drummer. Speaking of which, but yeah, I mean.
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, but that album with the artwork has a lot of like little hidden shit.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I just think the most badass looking Eddie is the Live After Death Eddie. That's in my opinion. There's a lot of obviously all of them are fucking badass, but like Killer's is probably my second favorite. But Live After Death, something about him like coming up out of the grave with a lightning bolt.
I remember when that album came out, they had at Peaches Records in Richmond, Virginia. I went there and my aunt was there at the time, and I went up to visit, and I went hang out with her at the record store, and they had this huge wall size. From like it had to have been from wall to wall. It was a big motherfucker, and it was just the album cover. And I asked him, Michelle, when this album comes down, I said, I want that. See, that fucking bitch promised me she was going to give me that son of a bitch, and she didn't do it. That was going to be my whole bedroom. I didn't care if it took up most of my house. I had plans for that motherfucker. I remember when that album came out, I was in fucking, I think I was in 8th grade. 7th or 8th grade, because I remember, had to been, because I was in 9th grade when, because they were on tour. 'Cause I was in 9th grade when Summer in Time came out, because I got that for Christmas that year.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So I have news about Gene Simmons wanting to sue King Diamond.
Oh,
Again?
Fuck out of here.
That was about his makeup and shit.
He changed it. That shit happened like.
Yeah, now King Diamond's like, he looks like he's like the Grand Wizard of the Occult or something. He's like wearing like
Kind of looked like fucking Spawn.
And this is something new.
I guess this is news from 2 days ago. So yeah.
I remember when he did that years ago, when back during like the conspiracy era. He had an issue, and it really, to me, I was like, it doesn't even look like his bat wings, but
No.
he changed it. And if this is fucking new, fuck you, Gene Simmons.
Yeah, and it's all about the money anyway.
Yeah.
But King Diamond and Merciful Fate had played in Germany. First time.
Yeah.
It showed on YouTube. I was watching it this morning.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a pretty big deal, man. Yeah, fucking Gene Simmons. I don't know, what gives him the right? Seriously?
I'm taking a piss.
And John's taking a piss.
Y'all can hatch this one out.
Well, but before you continue real quick, there was something I was going to say before I have it. Go take care of something real quick. One of the bases I've recently gotten a new appreciation for is the bases from System of a Down.
System, they have good fucking sound, man.
Yeah, they have good sound, but if you ever watch or even listen, he's keeping up with the lead guitarist on a bass.
Yes.
That's really impressive to do, and it takes a lot of time and pain to do that.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because
I don't think we've really discussed basses very much.
well, I mean, I was like, was System of a Down, because I haven't heard anything from them in years. And
Well, they did break up.
okay, that's what I was going to say. Have they gotten back together? Because I mean, I know there was an issue.
They reunited. They did a tour, and supposedly they're making some new stuff. But they've been broken up for years, for a while. It was a lot of creative differences. It wasn't even like political or anything like that. It was just creativity differences.
See, I like bands like them and Tool that are into a lot of different time changes, and time signatures and stuff, and odd times. That's what
Yeah, and that's one thing that they really do a lot. Like, Toxicity does it. Chop Suey does it. They change, and they change at a bizarre time.
Yeah,
They'll change like right in the middle of a riff, and
and I like that, because I mean, it's challenging to play shit like that.
yeah.
It's really challenging to write that kind of music. There's this chick. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
He was just listening.
There's a chick drummer on YouTube that I'm a big fan of, Maytal, and she was in the Israeli army, came over here after she got out, and started playing drums. And she's really into stuff like that, real big into Tool, and she's a killer fucking drummer. She's huge on YouTube, but she's real big into odd time signature playing, and and for a drummer, that's almost a lot of an ostinato type kind of stuff. You're doing a time signature with your kick and a different time signature with your hi hat, and each limb is doing. I love that shit.
And that's where I give drummers a lot of credit, because it's not just one, it's not just your two hands like their guitarists or bassists. It's you got your hands, your feet, and you're at two different sides of your body, and sometimes at two different. You're playing one drum part here at the lower end, one at the higher end, and you're.
Have you ever seen Thomas Lang?
I have not.
Go on YouTube and oh my god. I first saw him back in 2004. There used to be a drum shop. It was called. I got a T-shirt. They were on Cimarron, 436 over in Orlando, and I was on my way to work one day, and I decided to go in early. And instead of going to Sam Ash all the time, I used to go to that drum shop and you get little stuff cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, he just made his very first video. this dude was doing, I mean, he plays with like 4 different hi-hats and he's got like shit going on. He's got pedals all over, and he's just doing, I mean, all over the place. He plays Austin Idol style playing. I mean, and I walked in and I was like, and the owner of the place was like, yeah. And there was a whole group of drummers just watching this fucking video. That's when he first came out. And they're like, man, we can't figure this fucking dude out. And he's so big now, but he does something on YouTube with DW and the drum channel. Yeah, a matter of fact, I watched one of his courses today. But yeah, check him out.
I'll have to.
Amazing. Thomas Lang is his name. He's from Austria.
So, before I let us onto a tangent, you saying something about King Diamond?
No, it was just the makeup. You know, the Gene Simmons shit. Gene Simmons is just a piece of shit.
But it doesn't look like Gene Simmons makeup. It's like he's got the upside down cross.
Well, that's like him going after fucking Dio. Like, I started that. No, you did this. Dio did this. That's the Malloy.
That's
Gene Simmons did this shit. Dio never did that. That's like fucking I love you and whatever. He thinks it's like I created. No, that was sign language.
He tried to patent it.
Actually, Dio didn't do this.
No,
It was his
grandma.
grandma.
He just did it at all the shows on stage.
He did it, yeah.
When he came signature. Now all us
Doesn't
metalheads.
mean anything other than, you know, taking away the evil spirits of shit. You know, that's what that, you know.
Yeah, Malloy.
Or giving him the evil spirit.
Right.
But now it's like it's just a what all of us, you know, fan guys do at every fucking rock and metal show.
Yeah.
It's a habit.
There's actually an award that's like that, isn't it? For not Loudwire, but is it Revolver?
Maybe.
They had this. It was made from Dio, and then they had a new thing that they did for the Guitar God that they made from Tony Iommi's hand, because Zach Wild was the first one to get it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have a 2022 Metal Music Awards. Okay, best album presented by the Architects. For those who wish to exist, the Architects.
Never heard of
You guys did? No?
Who are the Architects?
I have no idea. Best UK artist presented by Musical Insurance are the Architects. All right. Nobody? Okay.
I've never heard of it.
No. Best international artist, Beartooth.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Anyone? Yeah.
Hey, who is this awards by?
Lovewire.
Oh,
Loudwire.
Well, no, Amazon Music and whatever. Okay. Best UK breakthrough artist, Cassiette. Okay. They look fruity as shit.
They don't look like a metal
No, that does not look like a metal band.
That's Nickelback's cousins.
Okay, best international breakthrough artist, Kenny Hoopla. Okay.
Kenny G.
Best single, Bring Me to the Horizon, produced no. Best podcast. Oh, hey, that's not us, so fuck shit. On Mondays, We Wear Black. Whatever the fuck that is. Best album artwork. Trivium in the Court of the Dragon.
We know who Trivium is.
Yeah. But this is the artwork they're talking about.
I can dig that.
That is fucking.
I like that.
It looks like an old timey fucking.
It's like a power metal shit, like Blind Guardian
Like
type shit. I like it.
just like old painting they would get
Yeah.
to see in a fucking museum.
Right.
Best live artist, Enter Shikari.
I've heard of him, but I've never.
Oh, okay. Okay, best video, Electric Callboy, Pump It. That sounds gay as shit.
I wasn't going to say that,
You know, for a call, I know what a call girl is, but what's a call boy? Pump It. Best production, Bullet for My Valentine, Bullet for My Valentine. Isn't Bullet for My Valentine like old as shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they get a best?
I wouldn't call them old as shit, but I don't really give a fuck.
No, but I mean, it's like 10, 20 years old.
Yeah, I think the early 2000s, so that would consider that they're 20 years old.
Yeah. Innovation Award, While She She Sleeps, a Sleep Society. I don't know any of these motherfuckers, man. Maybe we're all out of fucking.
We're all out of tune.
Something Black Sabbath.
Where 20 rock band metal names come from. And we can do that later.
No.
Okay, I guess Black Sabbath. I don't know. That seems like a long deal. We'll have to gear up for that.
So that was it?
Fall Out Boy. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
Whatever.
Fall Out Boy.
So
Yeah.
I don't know who most of those people are.
Neither one of them. Out of all of them, I knew.
I know who that is,
For
though.
my Valentine, and I knew Trivium.
Oh yeah, Judas Priest.
Fuck yeah.
So Korn's new song, it's called "Worst Is on Its Way." I had to search
They
it up. I can't remember the title.
got a new album coming out.
Never heard of Korn.
Well,
Better than fucking Linkin Park.
a guy
Yeah,
wrote in the comments, because I watched it on YouTube, because Korn has their own channel, and he'd said it was kind of like Untouchables, which was one of a lot of the early shit.
I will say that I like Ray Luzier. I think he's a fucking phenomenal drummer. He's an amazing motherfucker. He went to MIT, so the dude's got chops.
Yeah. But yeah, so a guy had said it was kind of along Untouchables, which I can actually see. It has quite some similarities to a lot of the early sound. Actually sounded really, really good.
Creator's got a new album.
Yep.
Hey Uber Allies, I think that's or Uber or Uber, how do you pronounce that? It's like EUB with the two.
Uber, yeah.
Here, I got it right here because I was listening to it. Is that how you pronounce it?
Hey, Uber Allies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allies or allies, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of German thing, but because we're German.
Well, Uber means super.
Yeah, super.
Okay. So, yeah, because Creator, fucking rules. Forefront thrash metal band of Germany back in the 80s. Along with Destruction, Sodom, Tanker, all those guys.
So, yeah, we've gone across the albums that are coming out. Amon Amarth, The Great Heathen Army.
Fuck yeah.
Amon Amarth's got a new one coming out?
Yep.
No clue.
I think it's in August, right?
August. The Great Heathen Army, I think it is in August.
Yeah, they released one of the
The
songs.
5th of August, yes.
Just like get into the ring or something.
Yeah, with the wrestler, yeah.
Yep.
Aventasia.
When's the Megadeth album coming out?
I do not. I thought it was supposed to come out by Christmas, before Christmas. I'm not sure. Let me find out. Megadeth's new album, Megadeth. All right, let's see here. I'm just wondering how it's going to be received without Ellefson, and I know they've been working on it, just like Megadeth's new song, "Life in Hell." Okay, that came out December 28, 2021. Nah, fucking ain't, man. And that's from their new album. You figure they would have had fucking ain't.
Oh, he played a riff for somebody. He did like a cameo video for someone's birthday or some shit. And
Okay.
he played like a section of like one of the new songs.
All right.
That might have been it. But
Yeah. Release date. New album 2022 release date. Let's see here. Spring. What? Sick of the Dying.
It's summer now, so
Yeah.
crickets.
Hopeful release date for the new Megadeth album. This is from the news from March. July 8th.
Okay.
So it was up and now it's back. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Metal tour dates, April 9th. No, we're already in June. I don't have anything for June or July. But yeah, well, so with that being said, is there any other news or anything else we got going on?
Something about Ozzy getting surgery.
Oh yeah, Ozzy, it may stop him from touring anymore or doing any music.
Fuck.
Yeah, but all the jewels that we've gotten lately from him. You know. Yeah. I mean, out of what the past couple albums, maybe one good song out of them? Maybe. See, you're even struggling with that.
I actually did not listen to his latest album.
Yeah.
I actually have listened to any songs of it.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. I don't. He's doing collaboration with
People,
rap,
yeah.
fucking all the other shit, and I don't care. And the ones I've heard sound like shit. You know, all you Aussie fans that like to gargle the balls, it sounds like shit. I'll tell you, it sounds like shit.
I
I don't know if he's lost a step. Maybe he's just doing his artistic thing that he wants to do, or what his kids want to do.
Because I miss the Blizzard of Oz, No Rest for the Wicked, era.
Yeah. Even Osmosis, which was not the greatest album in the world,
Still better than
is still fucking.
It had Joe Holmes, Zach Wild, and Steve Vai on that album, so I
Right.
respect it.
Right.
And Thunder Underground.
I love that song.
Shit.
Right. But when you're saying shit like that was and I'm saying that was a weaker album, and it was that, and it's still good, compared to today, yeah, shit. It's all.
I thought it was the one prior to the last one he released, like, fucking 10 years.
Black Ryan.
Black Rain. I like Black Rain. Well, obviously, I'm not going to say it was better than, No Rest for the Wicked or, Bark at the Moon, obviously. But
Bark at the Moon.
maybe it was just because I was so into metal at the time, being in high school, and it was a fucking Ozzy album, and it was a new Ozzy album. I liked it.
I saw him on that tour. I think it's what he had Gus G with him.
Blizzard of Oz.
I saw him in St. Pete. It was a good show. It had Slash and
St. Pete?
Yeah, St. Pete Forum.
St. Petersburg? Or?
Yeah, St. Pete Forum.
I was going to say Janus Live.
Huh?
Did you see him at the Janus Landing or Janus Live?
It was at St. Pete Forum, the big Coliseum there. St. Pete.
Okay, never mind then.
But it was Ozzy, and I think he had Gus G with him, and then it was Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators opened up. It was a good fucking show.
Yeah.
Gus G's a fucking amazing goddamn guitar player. And I gotta say this, I've always been like this with with Ozzy's guitar players. I was just so hung up on Randy, and and then I found out Brad was playing with him, and I was, well, the fuck, that's not Randy Rose. He ain't gonna replace Randy Rose. And I thought, looking back on it after the fact, Brad did a great fucking job on, Speaking of the Devil, did the best he could. And then I was like, this fucking Jakey Lee guy, and I fell in love with Jakey Lee because he's a goddamn great guitar god, and he fucking left, and then this fucking young punk motherfucker named Zach Wild, like, who the fuck is this cocksucker? They're coming after Jakey Lee and fucking Randy Rose.
Didn't Jakey Lee also play with Dio? Or was that Gus G? Somebody that played with Ozzy played with Dio.
Oh, Rudy Sarzo.
Okay.
Yeah. Rudy, no, it was Rudy Sarzo. They played with Ozzy and Dio. But they both, Rudy and Tommy Aldridge both played with the Blizzard of Oz and Whitesnake together. But the cool thing about Black Sabbath, and which I call the Black Sabbath Deep Purple umbrella, if you do the trickle down, of who played with who from the two bands, they all played together. When Jake left Ozzy, he formed Badlands with Ray Gillen and Eric Singer on drums, who plays for Kiss now. Those two both played with fucking Black Sabbath during, I think it was like the Headless Cross album or some shit. And it just goes on. I can get into it, man, but my brain's too all fucked up for it. But they all crisscrossed into fucking, of course, we all know that Zach's like the fucking phenomenal goddamn guitar god that he is. Mm-hmm. And then came Gus G, and I was like, who the fuck is this Gus G guy coming in after fucking Zach Wild? How are you going to replace Zach? And then when I went and saw him, I didn't really hear a whole lot of the shit that was done by the studio. I saw that motherfucker play live, and I was like, holy fucking, I went directly after that show, I started looking up everything I could on Gus G and Firewind, and God, what a phenomenal musician.
Fucking Ozzy knew how to pick them.
Damn right.
Robert Trujillo played with Ozzy.
Yeah, and with Black Label Society.
Yeah. And Suicidal, and
Yeah.
with Metallica now. Fucking, I think he's a great bass player.
Oh,
I love Robert.
one of the best. One of the best.
So Metallica is not hurting with Robert Trujillo at all.
So, Four Finger Snapchat, Butterfinger, has a new single out.
I never got it done.
Corey Taylor, you're just talking about Black Knot. Slipknot has got a new hip hop video with Kid Bookie.
Oh, you got kidding.
Yes, I need to throw that in with the Ozzy Osbourne shit.
God.
No, we're fucking doing this crap. So yeah, next week Ozzy's gonna have his, or actually, this coming up week, Ozzy's gonna have his operation. So we don't. That may end his career.
Thought maybe the black magic will save him, but you know, he is the Prince of Darkness.
So Devil Driver has a 5-album package. That's called
Cool. Devil
Clouds
Driver.
Over California box set.
Fuck yeah, Devil Driver rules.
Metallica, Blade and Demon, Venom. Midnight Suns look to the most heavy metal Marvel game ever. Oh, okay.
What?
I guess it's going to be a heavy metal Marvel game.
Well, I heard about Midnight Suns, a Marvel game, but it's going to be like musical, like have metal music. That's fucking cool. Because it's got like Blade and Doctor Strange and shit.
So Blade and Demon Venom. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Venom. Yeah.
Venom. Midnight Suns look like the most heavy metal Marvel game. Okay, Midnight Suns is what it's called.
Yes. They're a Marvel team.
They're gonna Anthrax Offshoots, The Living Wreckage, launch an Endless War video. So I guess they're got a new video coming out.
Cool. Is Anthrax releasing a new album anytime soon?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard any news until just reading that.
They've been in the news a lot lately, like, you know, music, metal news.
Yeah, and he's got his kid and all that. You know, just like everybody's kids, you know. My kids are something. No. Wolfgang is starting to get a big head on. Like, my dad would never have done this, and my dad would never have done that. And, you know, screw you for, you know, saying anything.
I saw that thing where he was pissed about what they were saying about autopsy, but you know he gets a pass on that, man. I mean, I think he's kind of still in the green part.
Yeah. No,
just like Alex is. I mean, everybody was talking about that reunion, and you know, with Joe Satriani playing, and then they were, you know, I seen a thing yesterday with Michael Anthony talking about it, and then he was like, well. Because Jason Newsted was brought into the picture and all this shit, and then all of a sudden it's like it's off the table now because, like Michael Anthony said, it's really going to be up to Alex because you know it is a Van Halen name, and Alex is still grieving. So I'm imagining Wolfgang is. So I give him a pass on whatever he says. I'm pretty sure it's still hard to take. I mean, you know, hell, I lost my dad in January. I really haven't actually dealt with it. So whatever he says, man. It's okay with me. I mean, I get it. But at the same time, you know, within that, they were talking about the deal. I mean, you know, there's legions and legions around the world of Van Halen fans that really want to know what the hell happened. Why did, you know, what happened to Eddie Van Halen? Why did he die? Because he, you know, it was unexpected. And I remember when I found out, I just, you know, was getting ready to clock out. I was sitting at my desk at work and got on my computer waiting to clock out. And just went on Google or whatever it was, and that's the first thing that popped up. Eddie Van Halen dead. You know, it like kicked me in the stomach. You know, so
It's a big deal.
yeah.
It was like 2019, and all like these, you know, big time musicians, you know, started dropping. Like Glenn Frey, you know, from the Eagles, Reed Mullen from Corrosion Conformity, and then friggin' damn it,
Prentice and
Rush.
Oh, Neil Peart,
Neil Peart. Yeah, fucking.
the professor.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. A lot of drummers started dropping, which was odd. Vinnie Paul, like a year or two before that.
Yeah, that was really unexpected.
Yeah.
Which, thinking about it after the fact, I'd seen a few interviews with him. I guess it was not Loudwire. The kid that on YouTube all the time, it could be Loudwire, but always asked like fact or fiction.
Oh yeah, that's Loudwire. Yeah, Wikipedia fact fiction.
Yeah,
That's Loudwire.
and then if you actually look at that video, you can see he's like really like water retained and bloated, and he's really extremely pale.
Right.
And it wasn't too long after that Benny had passed into sleep. But I think all of the stress of Don's murder. I don't think he really ever came to terms with it.
Because speaking of that, the kid asked him about Phil and Selma.
No,
And it was like, do you think you and Phil could ever make it? Or he said something. He mentioned something about Phil, and he immediately kind of jumped his ass, and he said, "No, Phil and I don't speak to each other, and I'll just leave it at that." Like he was like straight, like, don't talk about Phil. I'm not, that's it. And
he never would forgive Phil. Although Rita did. Him and Rita made up, and she was pissed about the whole thing. But I mean, Phil's Phil, and he always runs off at the mouth, just kind of like Axl Rose, and he just says shit, and has always said shit without thinking about it. And that interview that he was talking about, Don deserves to die. You got to think about you're at that level of, or that status of being famous, or having that much influence on people's lives, especially a band like Pantera. There's fans out there that take that shit literally, and that's what happened. And ultimately, we lost a guitar hero because that was my son's birthday.
I think a lot of people too, believed that Dimebag was Pantera. Not even Vinnie Paul, and Dime, but just Dimebag.
To me, they both were.
Yeah, the Abbott brothers.
Yeah. I mean, it was their baby, just like with Van Halen. That was Eddie and Alex. No matter who revolves around the rest of the positions in the band, it was their baby. So I mean, those guys, just did everything together. So when Pantera ended, they went on Damageplan.
Yep.
The thing that really bothered me the most was I was such a huge fan, and even as a drummer, I mean, Don was such a big hero to me, just because of his whole personality of, as big as they got as a rock band or a metal band, never had an attitude. It was just, they were never lost or never forgot who they were as being
Phil did.
people. Yeah, Phil did.
But the Abbott brothers did.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
And you can watch any of the whole Pantera videos, man. Don would just walk up to anybody and have a conversation, drink a beer with them, get them to do stupid shit and pay them money for it. And
Drinking games, yeah.
And so, I mean, I was always a huge Don fan. I mean, Pantera is one of my all-time favorite bands, and it hit me really hard. I mean, that being my son's birthday, that's something that, it took me a long time to get over. I mean, every time that day came around, I'm mourning the loss of a rock hero and celebrating the birth of my son at the same time.
When that happened,
December 8th.
That's right.
Same day that John Lennon was murdered. It's Jim Morrison's birthday, Dwayne Allman's birthday.
Day after Pearl Harbor.
The day after Pearl Harbor, but there's like 2 or 3 more musicians that have, or some.
Was it Elvis?
No, he was born. He died in August. He was born in January. But December 8th was a hard day.
Yep, I'll leave you with this last one, seeing as how we like to ass kiss. I know you don't. Kiss was caught lip-syncing again. 3 days ago. As Eric Singer bought the drum park, and everybody at the concert noticed, and they were listening. So,
As a long time 70s Kiss fan, growing up in the 70s and 80s, and being a Kiss fan, seeing them in the 70s, I have said time and time again, you know, and I've even talked to Peter Criss about this, and I was very vocal about it. When, after the reunion of 96 and then the farewell tour of 2003, when Ace and Peter left, I was cool with them bringing in Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, not a problem. But they should not have done what they did with, you know, having those two wear a piece of Peter Criss' makeup. The thing of it is now, with the people that go see Kiss today, they're not. I mean, you won't see a true diehard Kiss fan go see a show today. I mean, maybe out of a group of 30,000, there might be one, but most of us won't do it because it's worse than going to see Vegas show, you know, with a shitty production, and that's all it is.
Right.
You know, they have really, and the marketing aspect of what Kiss has become has really taken them from being rock heroes of what they were of their, you know, of their time, and the speech that Tom Morello gave when the original Fears and Enforcement were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame meant nothing because of what they're doing today.
yeah,
I'm ashamed. I mean, it's terrible.
yeah.
I've gotten in arguments with family members, school friends that got in fights over that band, and it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
You couldn't give me $1 billion to go see a Kiss show today. I'd rather eat out of a garbage can.
There you go.
Take this $1 billion or get out of the garbage can. Show me the can.
And that's coming from I grew up on Kiss, you know.
Yeah.
Damn shame.
This day and age, that $1 billion wouldn't hurt.
Well, I mean, you offer me $1 billion, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to the Kiss show.
$1 billion, that'll buy you gas for a year.
Yeah.
Right?
On the flip side of things.
All right. Well, I guess that'll kind of conclude the whole deal. Wrap up Sunday's or Saturday's show. Fucking Sunday.
That's what I say. I don't want to get up in the morning. I don't want to wake up in the morning.
Yeah. All right, and that is the metal perspective. Else? No. Everybody looks tired.
I don't think we really have anything for closing.
All right. Well, good night.